No one taught you what to do when you got money in your hands, so I'm gonna teach you. I went viral showing everyone how I teach my daughters about money, including budgeting their allowance. And so many people told me that they never learned as a kid or asked if I could teach them the same way that I teach my kids. So that is the series that I'm gonna start today. I will teach all the big kids in the world who were not taught how to manage their money properly as a child, how to start now. I'm going to do my best to break down everything as simple as possible, like you should have been taught from the beginning. I definitely know the feeling, so let's just go ahead and start with the basics. When money comes into your hands, there are three places or three accounts that some of your money should go into. I have these three envelopes to represent the three different accounts that you should have and that part of your money should go into when you receive it. There is absolutely no judgment here. We are starting from scratch, so don't feel bad if you don't have all these accounts yet. That is totally okay, but I want you to be aware of them, so if you don't have a particular account yet, you can start looking into opening one, okay? So the first one that everybody should already have, instead of being paid cash, you should have a direct deposit going into your checking account. So your checking account is where your money should normally hit. It is where your bills are going to be paid from. It is where the spending is going to come from. For some, this is the only account that money goes into, and you kind of go from there. But the next account that you should have is a high yield savings account. So not just a savings account where you're earning pennies on the dollar, but a high yield savings account where you're earning the most you possibly can with the money that you have to have in savings. Now, personally, I have a Capital One high yield savings account and an Ally savings account. Feel free to start there or look into your bank to see if they have a high yield savings account that they can offer. In today's current market, we're looking for a minimum of a 3% APY. An APY is just the interest they will pay you for keeping your money in their account. You're looking for at least 3%, okay? 3.5, maybe even 4% if you get lucky right now, but you need to have a high yield savings account and you should be earning the most you possibly can with it. We're gonna start working smarter and not harder with our money. So a high yield savings account is the second account that you should have. And the last account that you need to have is some type of investing account. This can be a 401k through your job, a 403b through your job, a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA. It can even be a brokerage account if you have one. However, since we're big kids now, we are looking towards the future. We are looking at retirement. So you do want to have a retirement investing account before you have a regular brokerage account, because we have to make sure that we take care of our old selves and start doing that now. So those are the three accounts that we're looking at. It is okay if right now you can't put into all of these accounts. And it is okay if you start very, very small putting into these accounts. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to teach you why they're all important and why little by little you could increase how much you put towards your savings and your investing. Now, it is important to know the difference between a savings account and an investing account in terms of why do we put money towards both. Money in your savings account is for something like an emergency. You never know when that's going to happen, but they're more likely going to happen sooner rather than later. So the number one reason to have a savings account is for emergencies. Once you have enough money for an emergency. Now, an emergency is more than likely going to happen within the next 5 years. That is why we want to keep our money easy to access, because if an emergency happens, we need to be able to grab that money ASAP and take care of what we need to take care of. Now, if you have enough money in a savings account for emergencies, then you can also use savings accounts for something big that you're saving for that's going to happen in less than 5 years. That could be Christmas, that could be a new car, that could be something nice for yourself. All those things, if they're going to happen in less than 5 years, then you want to keep in a savings account. Compare that to investing. We're thinking long term. We're thinking more than 5 years in the future. That is when you want to invest. That is when you can really get growth from the market. So we want to think about investing as something far into the future. For us big kids, that is retirement. That should be the number one reason for why you are investing. The longer you are investing, the more growth opportunity there is. And since we're looking at ways to work smarter and not harder, investing is going to be one of those tools. So a quick way to remember savings versus investing is goals 5 years and under, goals happening in 5+ years. Cool? Cool. All right, so we got paid. Normally, all this money goes directly into your checking account. Maybe you're in the service industry, bartender, server. I was one for a really long time, so you have actual cash. Given that most of the money is already here, a lot of big kids get the money into their checking account and start paying bills, start buying themselves something, and then they wait until the very end of the month, and then they realize, oh, I have a few dollars left over. Now I can put some towards savings. And if you do investing as well, that's great. But here is what you should have been taught when you were younger. Anytime you get money, you are going to set aside money towards your investing and towards your savings. Now, how much can depend on where you're starting right now. If you're starting with $0 in your savings and $0 in your investing, that is okay. We can start with the very minimum amounts into your savings and investing, and then pay our bills, budget out some spending, maybe pay off a little bit of our debt, and have a little buffer in there just in case. If we get to the end of the month and that buffer remains, we can add it to our savings or to our investing and start fresh the next month. And as we go, we can increase our savings or increase our investing and see if we can make it work with the rest. But it is okay to start small and go from there. That is it for today's lesson. Tell me what you want me to cover next, or tell me if you need further understanding about anything I went over today. There is absolutely no shame. You were not taught this when you were younger, so it is totally okay for you to ask all the questions that you need in order to fully understand it. I am here to help. You got this.